Visali ji, you may start.
Yes. Geetha ji, start.
Yes, ready. सर्वेभ्य मम विनयशील नमस्कारः च शुभसन्ध्या। अकजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननं अगर्निशम् अनेकतं तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तम् उपास्महे। श्री गणेशाय नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। अगापेरिवाचरणम्। पुनः सर्वेभ्यः मम विलम्बं प्रार्थना गीतेन करिष्यामः वा? आगच्छतु कुमारी तेजस्विनी। सा 10 वर्षेभ्यः सङ्गीतस्य अध्ययनं कुर्वती अस्ति। उमा रविचन्द्रन् नामस्य तस्य गुरु द्वारा 10 वर्ष सङ्गीत अध्ययनं कुर्वती। अनेकेषु गायन स्पर्धासु स पुरस्कारमपि प्राप्तवान्। आगच्छतु भगिनी।
मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजयत्री, मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजयत्री, आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत, आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत, युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत, युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत, त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम्, त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम्, मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजयत्री, जननी पृथ्वी कामदुगास्ते, जननी पृथ्वी कामदुगास्ते, जनको देवः सकल दयालु, जनको देवः सकल दयालु, दाम्यत दत्त दयतुं जनतः, दाम्यत दत्त दयतुं जनतः, श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनान्, श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां, श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां, श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां, श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां।
अति अद्भुत गायनं। धन्यवादः।
Thank you, Mama.
Next program is Subhashitam. Sri Ramakrishnan Mahoday, as always, he will be presenting our Subhashitani today. Sri Ramakrishna Mahoday is 84 years old, from Chennai, graduate in economics and diploma in electrical engineering. Served as an Indian Air Force officer. Actively participated in 3 wars, namely 62, 65 and 71. And he has won many bravery awards. Retired as accounts officer from the Defense Accounts, Chennai. A state athlete from 1953 to 57. Wow. A Sanskrit scholar, extensively toured temples, including Kailash Yatra, covering all places in Himalayas. Disciple of late Pujya Sri Omkarananda Swamiji, a student of Atma Vidya. Even at the age of this ripe age, he has a thirst for learning and he has never stopped. Volunteered at ISKCON temple, learning advanced Gita course there. Agachadu. Mahoday,
Sarvebhyo Namaskaraha. Today's Subhashitam is regarding friendship, selection of friendship. That too, especially in emergency. The Subhashitam is like this. Kaha kalaha kani mitrani ko desaha kau yavagamo kaschaham kachame saktiriti chintayam muhurmuhu. Once again. Kaha kalaha kani mitrani ko desaha kau yavagamo kaschaham kachame saktiriti chintayam muhurmuhu. Kaha kalaha, how is the time? Is it favorable for you? Kani mitrani, who are your friends? Whom you want to make a friendship? What is their background? What is their advantages, plus points, their strength? What is your strength? Ko desaha, where are you at that time? How yavagamau, what is the expenditure or how much you have to pay for it? Or how you will exercise? Paschaham kachame saktiriti chantayam. All these things you should wisely go on thinking muhurmuhu repeatedly. So if you want to be successful with a friendship from a place which is unknown to you and a person who is not known to you, you have to analyze the time and that place and then take a right decision. Then only you will be successful, otherwise you will land in trouble. So this story, supporting story is about a rat and a cat and an owl. Once the hunter has laid a net to catch the prey which supports his life. So he has spread the net and tied it to a tree. He has left. He wanted to come in the evening. So the time is allowed for prey to get trapped. At that time, a hungry cat, without knowing the implications, it was hungry. So in order to search the prey, it saw some fishes inside the net. So it went hurriedly, jumped on that, pounced on that, and he wanted to eat it. It tried to snatch. Alas, his legs and hands were all caught, and the nylon were so tight that it got jammed up in the legs were jammed up. It was very tightly trapped. So it took some time. Afterwards, it went on trying to come out. It was not able to come out at all. By that time, it fell unconscious. By that time, a rat coming out from its hole, he was also searching for his food. And he saw a cat that it was almost unconscious. So it thought, today is a good day, I can have a nice feast. But then the rat is always clever, so it waited, observed it for some time. Then it found that it is slightly moving this side and that side and groaning. So it thought, oh, it is alive, I have got to be very careful, I should wait till it dies. Simultaneously, on the tree branch, an owl was watching. So it was also waiting for that cat to die so that it can come and eat it. So what happened? The cat was groaning and it was asking the rat, oh rat, please save me, please save me, please save me. They are bitter enemies. However, the rat thought, okay, that it is be okay, it is an emergency. I should help other creatures also, unlike human being. Let it be, let us save that cat. So he thought for a while and then he wisely charted out a plan. So he started deliberating with the cat. Okay, I shall release you. What will you do in turn? Then it said, okay, I will protect you. Then the rat asked, promise me. Then only I can believe you. Then the cat promised that it will not harm it. It will not eat it forever. They will be good friends. Seeing this, the owl came to know, oh, they have become friends. It is of no use for me to wait here. It vanished. Then the rat was still thinking, okay, how can I believe? The cat has been for more than half a day lying unconscious. Now it will be very hungry. If I release it, supposing it eats me, what I will do? So he was very carefully thinking, and slowly he started cutting the far off that net one by one thread. But it did not cut it sufficiently for the cat to escape. So it was waiting for the right time. So at that time, what happened? The hunter started coming. Then the rat understood, yes, this is the right time, but I will cut all the threads one by one, but I will not release it fully unless the hunter comes to catch it. So as soon as the hunter approached the tree where he has tied the net, then he thought, this is the right time, I can cut. Because it was so wise that it wanted to distract the attention vision of the cat. So unless the vision of the cat is distracted, it cannot escape and run back to its hole. Then when he approached nearer and nearer, this rat thought this is the right time and it cut the last thread. Then the cat, which was seeing the hunter, was afraid that the hunter will catch him. So it ran away and sat on the tree, and the rat entered into its hole safely. After some time, the hunter returned disappointedly. The cat again tried to eat that rat because he has made a friendship and he has given a promise, like our politician who give promise and never maintain their words. So it came down slowly, came near the hole, and it told, rat, please come out, my friend. We are now good friends. I will not harm you. But the rat is wise always. It did not come out and saved its skin. So what we have to learn is, as we have told, we have to judge the place, strength of the enemy and the right time, and then only make friendship. So it is an emergency friendship will never last longer. So it goes off so long as you are saved and you have got to be saved. So let us be wise enough like the rat to be selection of right friends at the right time and at the right place. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Always, as always, it is an excellent story, excellent Subhashitam with a very good message that everyone should know and follow. Thank you, Uncle.
Thank you, Namaste.
Now is the time for welcome address. My multi-talented sister, Shri Visali ji, Srimati Visali ji, will give the welcome address. She is, as I told you, she is multi-talented. She is an expert in astrology and also Vastu Shastra. She is a permanent member in the Council of Astrological Science, New Delhi. She has been working for customs previously, and she has given lectures about Shakti Peetams. They have been telecasted in the visual medias. Film Censor Board member, and above all, she is a very good person and my personal friend, and she is the backbone of the Samskritha Vani, as also Jnanaula.
धन्यवादः सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः अद्यतनं संस्कृतवाणी कार्यक्रमे सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतम् अद्यतनं निरूपिकायाः श्रीमती गीता मुत्तुस्वामी महोदय स्वागतं माता कुमारी तेजस्विनी अपि स्वागतम् अस्मि या तदीये सम्मोहन स्वरे प्रार्थना गीतं गीतवती स्वागतं श्री रामकृष्ण महोदय या सुभाषितम् इत्यस्य माध्यमेन अस्मान् सुन्दरं सन्देशम् अददत् श्लोका प्रार्थं कुमारी श्वेता वेंकटरामन वर्य स्वागतम् स्वागतं श्री सुश्रुता महोदय या प्रतिमासं भगवद्गीतायाः सुन्दरं वाक्यं करोति स्वागतं श्री अभिनव किडम्बी महोदय या नरसिंह पुराणं सुन्दरं वाक्य गीतवान् अस्माकं विशेष अतिथि श्रीमती प्रिया श्रीराम महोदय हार्दिक स्वागतम् धन्यवाद प्रस्तावाय स्वागतं श्रीमती गीता विनोद महोदय अद्यतनं कार्यक्रमे पुनः सर्वेषां स्वागतं करोमि
अति उत्तमम्। धन्यवादः भगिनी। अस्य भगवद्गीता पाठनं Shri Dr. Sushrutha, Assistant Professor of Amrita University, Coimbatore. He has done his PhD in Yoga and Yajna, studied Veda, Vedanta from traditional Gurukulam system starting from very tender age of 10 for more than 12 years. He will enlighten us on the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita today.
नमस्कारेभ्यः पुनरपि स्वागतं भवतां सर्वेषाम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। We just celebrated two important festivals from the last meeting. One is Navaratri and the other one just completed Deepavali. Both of them have a greater contribution to any human life. Though there are opponent voices, why do you celebrate Deepavali with all the crackers, and that remains forever. But we stand for what is our culture, though, and that is what is important than any wokeism in this present contemporary opposition that exists. And very interestingly, Deepavali is celebrated across all the regions of this country with very different, its own flavored way of celebrating. I did not observe this, a small tradition of how Deepavali celebrated in this Tamil Nadu area. Very recently, I visited one house, one of my colleagues. In fact, Shri Shankar Kumaran sir is known to all of you. So what happened on that specific day? All the elders have to be saluted by the youngsters. So starting from the eldest person of the house, the youngest will salute all of them, and elder to the youngest will also be saluted by the youngest of the house. Therefore, everybody is given equal respect, and also it's a celebration, in fact. So that is just memory that I get out of a recent celebration of Deepavali. So with that remembrance, I see that our tradition remains forever with all the colorful flavors, whether it is crackers or arisi podi in front of the house, offering it to all the ants and insects and all the other. It's called bhuta yajna according to us. So nurturing and nourishing the entire beyond human beings life form, which is called bhuta yajna, and we will continue to do in spite of all the oppositions. And for the connection that I have brought in, why people worship different devatas. In fact, in Deepavali we worshipped Lakshmi, and in Navaratri, in fact, the same Lakshmi in Kali, Saraswati, and the Lakshmi. These are the three devatas. So different devatas we worship, and that connection, however, when we find out from Bhagavad Gita's perspective, Krishna says in the 7th chapter, probably this will be the last discussion on the 7th chapter. And seventh, I have been looking into in detail for different reasons. It has very essential components of Bhakti Yoga, one. Second, logics of why people try worshipping different devatas in spite of knowing that, Parabrahma we claim there is only one devata, but manifesting in different forms. Therefore, whatever I like, whatever one's individual preferences of worship may follow, and this is the unique feature that only Sanatana Dharma holds. All the other, specifically Abrahamic religions, they have very strict regimentation of how to worship, who to worship, and who has to be uh, instrumental in all these things. In our culture, we don't have any middleman. In fact, there is no priest. In fact, purohitas are different from the priests. Okay, fathers are different from the purohitas. Okay, ritviks, purohitas, and all the swamis, they have specific responsibility. They do not play the role of middleman between an individual and with the devata that we presume that it truly exists. They only do the yajna karma because it is their duty to, that is the very meaning of Purohita. Puraya yaha hitam abhilashati saha purohita. One who wishes well to the entire community and to the whole humanity is called, who is Purohita. So, from that standpoint, from a yajna perspective, from different uh, desires to get fulfilled for all the individuals, we have different devatas. So this is not the structure of Abrahamic religions. Even otherwise in any other so-called religions, those exist across the world. So from that perspective as well, it is truly a logical presentation of uh, why of difference in worship. And by the end of the 7th chapter, he says in the 26th shloka, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani cha Arjuna, bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda nakaschana. It looks like, depressive words of Krishna. Okay? Na aham Veda aham samatitani. Whatever happened in the past, I know everything. Vartamanani, even now. Bhavishyani cha bhutani. Mam tu Veda nakaschana. Nobody understood me. Okay, I know everything, past, present, and future of everything, but still people are unable to understand me, is what Krishna says. But then, what is the reason why people do not understand him, which is very objective, and we claim that this is absolute reality, so-called Brahma. He says, Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. This is the clear verdict of why people, so-called um, so-called progressive people, even in the spiritual journey, they are also unable to understand the reality because ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva moha. Okay, ichha and dvesha and dvandva moha. Dvandva moha born out of ichha and dvesha are the root cause of why people do not see the reality. This is, very true representation of how psychology works. If you have either ichha or dvesha towards some objects or some people or some community, obviously we are biased. We are unable to take a stand for what is good and what is bad because of the covering, like ichha and dvesha. Okay, some of the communities, obviously their behavior is not so well. It is, spreading all the inciting the violence in the society, but still we try supporting them because there is either dvesha or ichha. We cannot judge it properly. So ichha and dvesha are the root causes of dvandva and moha. Okay, that's what Krishna very clearly says in the 27th shloka of 7th chapter. Sarva bhutani. It's irrespective of all the life forms on the surface of earth, either icha or dvesha, okay, which are causing dvandva and moha. Dvandva is the confusion. Dvandva is ubhaya koti samshaya. Okay, either this or that. Okay, we are unable to judge properly. That is what is called dvandva. And moha is infatuation. Moha is muhyate iti moha, muhyate buddhi. Whenever it's a specific term, it's a technical term. Even in the earlier classes I told, moha is for any preferences that you make when you are not logical. That is called moha. Okay, you do not know why you like something, why you do not like something. Whenever there is no reason and you are unable to substantiate, simply you like and simply don't like, that is called what is moha. Okay, so dvandva and moha, which are byproduct of icha and dvesha, are the or the intermediate cause for why people do not understand. When Krishna says mam tu vedana kasyana, nobody understood me when I know past, present and future. And yeshantu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmuktaha bhajante mam dridhavrataha. The moment all the papa is removed and all the karma lesha is evaporated from those personalities, devoid of punya, dvandva moha nirmuktaha. They are he says time and again, dvandva and moha, dvandva and moha, even in the beginning itself. Shankaracharya, in the beginning, he says, Shoka Mohabhyam Abhibhutaha. Arjuna, in the beginning, Shoka and Moha. So, Moha, time and again, is repeated not only in the Shloka, but even in the Bhashya and even in Tikakaras, because Moha is somewhere either it is said as a covering, but it's having a very technical, practical meaning. So it's very easy, unless we do not have any confusion about the word itself. Moha is mukhyate, which is closed. When you are unable to substantiate your likes and dislikes, that is what is moha. So dvandva moha vinirmuktaha bhajante mam dridhavrataha. With all the confirmed sankalpa, they all can understand only when there is no moha and no dvandva. Dvandva and moha are the causes, intermediate causes. And jara marana mokshaya mam ashritya yatanti ye te brahma tadviduhu krishnam adhyatmam karma cha akhilam. All the so-called spiritual, okay, it's not spiritual so-called, but we claim spiritual journey, spiritual knowledge, but our words are very, very clear. It's called adhyatma. Okay, adhyatma is atmanam adhi. That whichever is associated with atma is called adhyatma. That's it. Okay, adhyatma is maybe of at the body level, maybe at the pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, all these. It's not just beyond all, yato vacho generally, yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. This is the description of what is the nature of Brahma. But according to us, adhyatma includes all the 5 koshas that are mentioned in Taittiriya Upanishad. And as well, looking after the physical body is also as equal as clearing our mind. That's what Kalidasa says in his Kavya, Shariramadhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. Even to follow Dharma, we need sound mind and sound body. So today it's called, no more differentiation between mind and body. It's mind body complex. People started using this very word because there are inputs. Positive psychology, so-called positive psychology of today's world, are trying to bringing in all Vedantic concepts and yoga, and they cannot survive without including all these minute but unavoidable concepts to improvise the life of human being. Therefore, they call it as body-mind complex. So all that also is part of adhyatma according to us. Okay, Whether you work with Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha, all these 5 koshas, wherever you work, wherever you try bringing in some improvisation, even asanas, even gym can be called as the Adhyatma only if it is allowing you to progress, to understand yourself. Okay, so very recently there was a very big debate in my own class. You call spirituality and many other things. Any action which can make you reflect self is, you can claim as Adhyatma. That's it. Okay, anything, even you are watching movie, okay, and you are putting your legs into someone else's shoe, and you try understanding someone else's pain. Even that small action of you reflecting yourself, how much you are growing, how much you are having, we say karuna, how much that bhavas come rises to the surface. That is what is Adhyatma according to us. So, taking this link, okay, Jara Marana Mokshaya Mam Ashritya Tantriye Te Brahma Tadviduh Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Cha Akhilam. So, from here, the next sloka is Sadhibhutam Cha Adhidaivam Mam साधिभूताधिदैवं मां साधियज्ञ च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुः युक्तचेतसः. Along with adhibhuta, adhidaiva, adhiyajna and adhyatma, all these are required. Generally 3 shantis are uttered: om shanti shanti shanti, and different people have different opinions about it and interpretations, but clearly at least adhibhuta, adhidaiva and adhyatma interpretation is much more appropriate to give. And along with that, we also have adhiyajna. Okay, so he says sadhiyajnancha ye viduhu, one who understands me as existing in the form of all the saguna brahma as part of the process of yajna itself. Earlier we have seen nityam yajne pratishtitam. Okay, the entire Veda exists in the form of yajna when it has to be materialized. So, yajna, you can do it physically, externally, while offering things into the fire with the samets and specific materials, but that gradually is converted into antar yajna. And there is a very nice book published from Arbindo Ashram, I hope. They mentioned it. It's an internal yajna, and it's quite matured progress, we claim, as Adhyatma Jnana and Adhyatma Prayana. So, with this, we are concluding the 7th chapter, and from the next conversation, we will ponder upon some shlokas from the 8th chapter. Namaste, Dhanyavadaha.
Wonderful explanation, Mahoday. As always, thank you very much for enlightening us in Atma Vidya to a little bit, and about Ragatvesha, about body mind complex, that everything was clearly explained. Thank you very much. Thank you. Next program is Abhinav Kidambi Mahodayasya Narasimha Purana. Abhinav Kidambi is a 7th generation paternal descendant of Shri Madhibandi Ramadhyani Kadambi Srinivasa Tatacharya Swami of Tumku, descendant of Shri Kadambi Achan Swami, and is the Dauhitra of Mahamahobadhyaya Patrakara Shiromani freedom fighter, linguist, Sahitya Academy winner, author, translated, Shri Dr. Tirumala Ramachandra Swami, the descendant of Shri Nadamuni Swamigal and Shri Periya Thirumalai Nambi Swamiji. After M.Tech in medical nanotechnology, he has had international experience in STEM research. Wow. He has completed his MA Sanskrit from the University of Madras, Chennai. He has studied the basics of Samskritam as a student of Dr. O.R. Devanathan Swami, head of the department, PG and Research Department of Sanskrit. So he has been telling us about Narasimha Purana vividly. We are waiting to hear you, Mahoday. Agachatu.
Namaste. After Navaratri and Deepavali, we are energized to celebrate the different branches of Shastra and Sampradaya in this online dhara. It is very difficult to complete a Purana in maybe a year or so, but we are still trying to proceed in the direction of completing the Narasimha Purana. We are somewhere close to 1/3 of that Purana's contents. For the next few minutes, let me share a few details about what has been said in the next two chapters of the Narasimha Purana. The immediate next chapter gives us details on this Surya Vamshanucharita. We have already completed some part of Surya Vamsha and Chandra Vamsha. Again, this kind of a presentation is made in the Purana. So let us look at that Vamshanucharita. We are first shown Ikshvaku, one of the important characters in the Surya Vamsha of Sri Ramachandra Murthy. Ikshvaku's son is Vikukshi, his son is Subahu, his son is Udyota, and his son is Yuvanashva. Post Yuvanashva, we have this son by the name of Mandhata. It must be understood that around the time of Ikshvaku, as I have told you in the previous session, we see that the Ranga Vimana has been given to Ikshvaku. So Brahmadeva has given the Ranga Vimana for his Aradhana purpose to Ikshvaku. And Ikshvaku already has Sriman Narayana, that is in Achyuta form, in 3 different states. He is devoted to the Aradhana of Sriman Narayana in the form of 3 different paintings. And he also has Ranganathaswamy, who is in the Shayana form on top of Adishesha or Ananta. So Ikshvaku began it. It continues through Vikukshi, Subahu, Udyota, Yuvanashva and Mandhata. Around the time of Mandhata, we see that there is a special shloka also being told by the Praja of his Rajya. Yavat Suryaha Udeti Sma Yavatcha Pratitishthati Sarvan Tad Yavvanashvasya Mandhatuhu Kshetramuchyate. Apparently, we are already used to this kind of a statement that the sun never sets on the British kingdom. The British Raj period was an extremely important example of European colonization, where we see that the East India Company from Britain managed to capture so many lands across the world, from east to the west, from north to the south. Therefore, at no point of time can you say that there is no sun rising in the British Empire. Similarly here, I mean, it is actually a little difficult to say that it is similar here. What we should say is similar to this kingdom, the British Empire was. Because the shloka says, as long as the sun is present, as long as the sun rises and the distance to which the sun sets, the entire kingdom was that of the son of Yuvanashva, that is Mandhata, apparently. Post Mandhata, we see Purukushya, Drishada, Abhishambhu, Daruna, Sagara. Sagara is the one you probably are aware of in the context of Gangavataranam. It is the descendants of Sagara who are bringing Ganga from Akasha to Prithvi. So Sagara had those 60,000 sons, but they do not have any lineage continuing after them because they are burnt because of the Shapa or burnt because of the Krodhagni of Kapila while he was doing his tapas in the Aranya. They had mistakenly thought that he was the one who had stolen or he had kidnapped the horse of the Ashwamedha Yaga of Sagara. And they tried to disturb his tapas, and with his Krodhagni, he burnt them all to Bhasma and he carried on with his tapas. So, in order to find out where the Ashwa is, several descendants tried. Sagara's son Haryashva, notice that his name also contains the word Ashwa. Hari, Ashwa, Haryashva. Then we have Harita. I don't think this is the same Harita that you will find in the Dharma Shastra literature. There is a Harita Smriti. It's not, I don't think it is the same one. Harita seems to have been a common name in those days. Again, Rohita Ashwa. Again, the word Ashwa is part of the name. Post Rohita Ashwa, we see Amshuman. If you look at the description of the Gangavatarana in Raghuvamsha of Kalidasa, these names are not mentioned. Sagara giving birth to Asamanjas, Asamanjas gives birth to Amshuman. These Haryashva, Harita, Rohitashva names are not given there. Anyway, here it says Amshuman gives birth to Bhagiratha. Bhagiratha is the one who does the tapas and brings Swarganga to Bhuloka. Bhagiratha gives birth to Saudasa. He gives birth to Satrasava. He gives birth to Anaranya. He gives birth to Dirghabahu, who eventually gives birth to Aja. Aja is the father of Dasharatha. From here, you probably know, obviously, the lineage continues with Sri Ramachandramurti, Ramaha. But Narasimha Purana does not stop here. It goes on to talk about Lava. Lava giving birth to his son Padma. Padma giving birth to his son Rutuparna. Rutuparna is a very common name, especially in the Bengali part of India. There you see the names Rituparna used both for males and females. This is not a very common name in the southern part of the country. Then we have Astrapani. Notice the next name, Shuddhodana. And the Narasimha Purana mentions the name Buddha. It does not mention Siddhartha. We should recollect the name of the father of Siddhartha Gautama, that is Shuddhodana. You might be thinking, how is Buddha or Siddhartha connected to the Raghuvamsha here? Here we should also understand that some parts of our country, even today, have certain people who claim descent directly from the Raghuvamsha. So they are known as the Raghuvamshi Kshatriyas. So some, for example, one of my Guru Bhai, or what you call my fellow classmate, like one of my Shastra Gurus has a student who is actually a Raghuvamshi Kshatriya. So they claim their lineage dating back to Raghu himself. That is, they come in the lineage of Rama. So we see Siddhartha Gautama as in the literature mentioned as who is a descendant of Rama himself. Whether this lineage was established by some ambitious king for the sake of claiming some kind of validation because of being connected with the Raghuvamsha, or probably he was really a descendant of Raghuvamsha, we really may not know. But this is what the Narasimha Purana is saying. This is the summary of the one chapter which I wanted to show. The second chapter gives you the Somavamsha Anucharita. So Somavamsha Varnana, again here we see everything starting with Sriman Narayana. From the lotus coming from his navel, we have Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma. And then one of his Manasa Putras, mind-born sons, we have Atri, one of the Saptarishis. He gave birth to Soma, that is Chandra, through Anasuya. Anasuya, his wife. Parallelly, we have Daksha Prajapati, again born through Brahmadeva, who has 33 daughters, and starting with Rohini. So he marries these 33 daughters. Usually, we are told that there are 27 of these daughters, but the Narasimha Purana says that they are 33 in number. 27 because of the nakshatra count. 27 are the female nakshatras. But here he is supposed to have married 33 of these kanyas, daughters of Daksha Prajapati. His eldest, the son he bore with Rohini is called Buddha. To him, Ila gave birth to Pururava, who married Urvashi. This you probably know from Samskritha Sahitya. Any of the Kavyas, you probably have come across Pururavas and Urvashi. They gave birth to a son by the name of Ayu. Ayu and Rupavati gave birth to Nahusha. I'm sure you've also heard of the name Nahusha in any of the Puranas or the Kavyas. Nahusha and Pitrumati give birth to Yayati, another very famous name. Yayati and Sharmishta gave birth to Puru. Puru and Vamshada give birth to Sanyati or Samyati, based on how you are pronouncing. Sanyati and Bhanudatta give birth to Sarvabhauma. Sarvabhauma and Vaidehi, not to be confused with the name Sita has in the Ramayana. Sarvabhauma and Vaidehi give birth to Bhoja. Again, not to be confused with Bhoja Maharaja that you see in literature. Bhoja here, according to the Narasimha Purana, is also the ancestor of another person known as Kalanemi. This name you probably are aware of from the Bhagavata Purana as well as in the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra. Kalanemi Niha. You have that name because Kalanemi was one of the entities, or rather one of the beings who was killed by Sriman Narayana. He was destroyed by Sriman Narayana himself. And in his ancestor and in the descendants of Kalanemi, we have the Vrishnis, which we'll see again. In the Vrishnis, we see Kamsa coming up. The arrow is missing on the screen. And there is also Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the name mentioned here. Vasudeva is nobody else other than Krishna. Krishna Vasudeva. So this is mentioned here. Vasudeva is the one who managed to kill Kamsa because he was a bad person. This is mentioned in the Narasimha Purana. Bhoja, through the person known as Kalinga, his wife, give birth to Dushyanta, another very familiar name. Dushyanta is the one who is supposed to be the Nayaka in the Abhignana Shakuntala Mahakavya. Dushyanta and Shakuntala. Shakuntala here, daughter of Vishwamitra, through Menaka. Dushyanta and Shakuntala give birth to Bharata. Bharata and Ananda give birth to Ajamidha. Ajamidha and Sudevi give birth to Vrishni. Vrishni is the name which gives the final word Varshneya, which is supposed to indicate the lineage of Krishna himself. Krishna is called Varshneya in the Mahabharata. I think even in the Harivamsha, he is called Varshneya here and there. So this Vrishni is an ancestor of Krishna himself. Vrishni, obviously, in a way, is an ancestor of Arjuna and the Pandavas born through Kunti, because we also see that Kunti is a sister of Krishna's father, Vasudeva. It so happens that Vrishni and Ugrasena give birth to Pratyancha. Pratyancha and Bahurupa give birth to Shantanu. So obviously, Shantanu, who is Shantanu? Shantanu is the father of Bhishma that we will be coming across very soon. Shantanu, again, is going to be an ancestor for the Pandavas and the Kauravas at the same time. So we see that the Pandavas, the Kauravas, the Varshneyas, that is all those people who are in Dwaraka, all of them trace their lineage back to the same Chandra Vamsha. So we see the Surya Vamsha, which is the main Vamsha associated with Ramayana, and Chandra Vamsha, which is the main Vamsha associated with Mahabharata, both given in the form of the Vamshanucharita in 2 chapters. We will see further what is being described in the next chapters later. We will close here. Thank you. Namaste.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Excellent, excellent explanation. And it is really very nice to know about the lineage of both the Vamshas. And I have heard some North Indians being named Raghuvamshi even now. Adya Raghuvamshi was one of our colleagues nearby. He was our neighbor. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next program is Shloka chanting by Swetha Venkataraman, who is learning music for the past 10 years from Srimati Uma Ravichandran and for the past 5 years from Srimati Radhi Priya. Radhi Priya in order is a student of Sangeeta Kalaniti Vedavalli Amma. Swetha has participated in many music competitions and has won prizes. She has also performed in Sankara TV. She is pursuing her BCom degree in Shastra University, Chennai. She is a very good singer and our group's nightingale. Come on, Silevka. Swetha, Shloka chanting.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram, Vani.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram.
चाञ्चल्यारुणलोचनाञ्चितकृपा चन्द्रार्धचूडामणिं चारुस्मेरमुखां चराचर जगत् संरक्षिणि तत्पदा चञ्चच्चम्पकनासिकाग्रविलसन्मुक्तामणिरञ्जिताम् श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीशैलस्थलनासिनी भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये कस्तूरी तिलकाञ्चितेन्दुविलसत् उद्भासि फालस्थलीं कर्पूरद्रवमिश्रचूर्णखदिरामोदोलसद्दीपिकाम् लोलापाङ्गतरङ्गितैरतिकृपा सारैर्नतानन्दिनीं श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये राजन्मत्तमरालमन्दगमनां राजीवपत्रेक्षणां राजीवप्रभवादिदेवमकुटैराजत्वदाम्भोरुहाम् राजीवायतपत्रमण्डितकुचां राजादिराजेश्वरीं श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये षट्ताराङ्गणदीपिकां शिवसतीं षट्वैरिवर्गापहां षट्चक्रान्तरसंस्थितां वरसुधां षड्योगिनी वेष्टितां षट्चक्राञ्चितपादुकाञ्चितपदां षड्भावगां षोडशीं श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीनाथादृतपालितद्विभुवनां श्रीचक्रसञ्चारिणीं गानासक्तमनोजयौवनलसत्कन्धर्वकन्यादृतां दीनानामतिवेलभाग्यजननीं दिव्याम्बरालङ्कृतां श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये लावण्याधिकभूषिताङ्गललिता लाक्षालसत्काननीं सेवायात समस्त देव वनिता सीमंत भूषान्विता भोल भावोल्लास वशीकृत प्रियतमा भण्डासुरच्छेदिनी श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनी भगवती श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनी भगवती श्रीमातरं भावये धन्यां सोम विभावनीय चरिता धाराधर श्यामला मुन्याराधन मोदिनीं सुमनसा मुक्ति प्रदान व्रता कन्या पूजन सुप्रसन्न हृदयां काञ्चीलसन्मध्यमां श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनी भगवती श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनी भगवती श्रीमातरं भावये कर्पूरागरुकं कुङ्कुमाङ्कितकुचां कर्पूरवर्णस्थितां पुष्टोत्कृष्ट सुकृष्ट कर्मदहनां कामेश्वरीं कामिनां कामाक्षीं करुणारसार्द्रहृदयां कल्पान्तरस्थायिनीं श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनी भगवती श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनी भगवती श्रीमातरं भावये गायत्रीं गरुडध्वजां गमनगां गन्धर्वगानप्रियां गम्भीरां गजगामिनीं गिरिसुतां गन्धाक्षतालङ्कृतां गंगा गौतम गर्ग सन्मुतपदां गां गोमतीं श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये श्रीशैलस्थलवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीमातरं भावये.
Excellent, excellent. Swetha is known for her excellent metallic voice, as also very clear presentation. God bless you, Ma. God bless you. Wishing you all the best for your ensuing concert. May
Thank
God
you,
be
ma'am.
with you. Welcome. Now is the time to introduce our main speaker today. Madam is very brilliant, and as CV says, her educational qualification and professional background are excellent. She is an MBA from Marketing and Finance, coupled with BSc Physics. 6 years of experience in recruitment consulting in Chennai, demonstrating expertise in both business acumen and interpersonal skills. Passion for Sanskrit and Indian culture. Completed her 4th level Kovita in Sanskrit from Samskritha Bharati, showcasing dedication to mastering the ancient language. Engaged in exploring India's rich history through programs like Itihasa Parvesha at Chinmaya Vishwavidyapitham. Completed a 2.5-year course on Srimad Bhagavad Gita through Samskrita Bharati, cultural engagement and philanthropy actively contributing to cultural activities and community services with Chinmaya Mission, Balavika, at Muscat for the past 9 years. Member of the Sanskrit wing in Indian Social Club there at Muscat, Tyagaraja Samiti Muscat for past 7 years, and associated with Samskritha Bharati Muscat, demonstrating commitment to preserving and promoting the Indian cultural heritage there. Musical journey, a passionate vocalist in the Carnatic music tradition with over a decade of training under esteemed mentors, featured albums in Saregama and Doordarshan, Tyagaraja Ardhana, showcasing professional recognition and talent, judging musical competitions and Shloka recitations, inspiring positive change and nurturing creativity in others, sharing knowledge and culture. Dedicated YouTuber on a mission to share the beauty of Indian culture and values through the channel Samskriti India Values Revisited. Committed to spreading joy through music, fostering connections through recitation of shlokas. Welcome, madam. Stage is yours.
Namaste ji. Am I audible?
Yeah. Clearly, Ali.
The profile which Geetha ma'am read about whom?
Priya Sriram.
Actually, it was not mine.
That was mine.
Oh, nice to hear your profile, Geetha ji.
Thank you.
Acha, Geetha Vinod.
May I start my speech, Visali Bhagini?
Visali boy.
Yeah, you can start.
So before I start my speech, I shall start with a small set of prarthanas. सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा पठामि संस्कृतं नित्यं वदामि संस्कृतं सदा ध्यायामि संस्कृतं सम्यक् वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम् येन अक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्. So first I salute the Jagannatha and the Gurunatha
Shameta.
for having Kekarda.
I'm sorry, the profile I read was wrong. Now I will take 2 minutes to tell about our chief speaker today.
Okay.
Sorry. Her educational qualification is MCA and MA Sanskrit. She has completed levels of Samskrita Bharati exam, completed levels of Gita Shikshana Kendra, and learned slokas from Srimati Lakshmi Seshan. Her activities are serving as a Chinmaya Balavika Sevika Adayar, works as Samskrita Bharati Karyakatri, taking Sanskrit examination classes, conducting free slokas and traditional value-based classes for ladies, taking free Bhagavad Gita classes for children during vacation, associated with judging panel for many schools for Bhagavad Gita competition conducted by Chinmaya Mission, taking interest Sanskrit classes for school and college students, closely associated with Vachas, moral value-based classes to children. Her hobbies are stitching, kolam, yoga. Very impressive, madam. And one more thing, I think Mrs. Lakshmi Seshan was previously at Velachery Road, Chennai. Aina? Acha, okay, thank you.
You're muted.
You may continue.
Yeah. She resides in Indiranagar since 30-40 years.
Acha.
And Lakshmi Mami is above 80 years and Seshan Mama is above 94 years. So they both are there and she is my guru. I learned many shlokas from her and
Nice,
from my
nice.
mom.
Nice.
And my mother's name is also Geetha.
Ah.
So I shall start my speech with a small set of prarthanas. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Pathami Samskritam Nityam Vadami Samskritam Sada Dhyayami Samskritam Samyak Vande Samskrita Mataram Yena Akshara Samamnayam Adhigamya Maheshwarat Kritsnam Vyakaranam Proktam Tasmai Paninaye Namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam. First, I salute the Jagannatha and the Gurunatha for all the good things happening around the world. And I really thank the whole team, Heritage of Bharat and Samskrita Vani, for bringing me here as a main speaker and for having given me this small opportunity to share my knowledge. Dhanyavadaha, Geetha Bhagini, Visali Bhagini. And definitely I would also thank you for the great divine duty to bring out the enlightenment of Samskrita and make it reach all over the world is really something great you do it. Dhanyavadaha. And I would like to extend my wholehearted thankfulness and my gratefulness to all my Adhyapikas for having bringing me here, even though I'm always a student for them. Dhanyavadaha Adhyapakaha. So before today my topic is about Shishupalavada by Magha. So there is a curiosity and there is a eagerness whether to start the Kavya Saundaryam or to tell about the greatness of Magha. So definitely when it comes, Kavi is always greater than the Kavyam because Kavi has done the work for the Kavyam. So let us have a brief look of Magha and then go to the Kavya Saundaryam. So Magha, actually, he was quoted by Varamala and Anandavardhana, the kings like Varamala and Anandavardhana, around 8th century. So it has been proved that he has been originated in the 8th century, and yes, he has dedicated this work in 8th century AD, Shishupalavada. And he was a son of Dattaka and grandson of Somapradeva, who was the minister in the court of King Varamala. And Magha was born in a place called Shri Mala in Gujarat. So he was a proper Gujarat descendant, but he seemed to have a very affluent family and with eminent teachers around him and in a very good educational circumstances. So Magha was brought up with a surrounding an intellectual group. And by his own knowledge and Kavya Saundaryam, Shishupalavada glows as a Mahakavya. And Magha's knowledge, as we all know, Samskrita Abhimanis would definitely know, many sayings are there for Magha. Like Upama Kalidasasya, Bharavehe Artha Gauravam, Dandinaha Padalalityam, Maghe Santi Trayogunaha. So Kalidasa unfolds his intellectual beauty and linguistic skills in similes, Upama, the alliterations. Just like that, Bharavihi, he unfolds his intellect in Artha Gauravam. Artha Gauravam is the profound respect and the meaning given to the characters assigned by him. It is something you can't imagine. It's above our human's imagination. How the character is described is noted for Bharavi. And Dandin in Bharavi in Kiratarjuniyam. And Dandin's beauty is like play of words. Play of words in his Dashakumara Charitam. It's the story of 10 young princes in the reign of Punjab, right? If I'm not wrong. In that, every king is described in its own beautiful words. So Dandin is always especially noted for Padalalityam, the beautiful play of words. But for Magha, All three calls for Magha. We can literally experience the beauty of, we can just drink the essence of Magha's Kavya Saundaryam in Shishupalavada. We would never keep the book down, not because of the story, because story is taken from Mahabharata and Bharavi's story is also taken from Mahabharata. Generally, Bharavi and Magha is always compared together because just superior is Bharavi. Then comes Magha. So there is a saying goes, Bharavehe bhati yavat Magaha na udayaha. Bharavihi basate yavat paryantam Magaha tatra na agatam. Yada Magaha tatra agachati Bharavehe saundaryam kinchit nyunam bhavati syat. Iti, Bharavi is always compared very beautifully with Magha, par with Magha, but Magha is little more superior to Bharavi because of his profound usage of Alankara Shastra and Artha Shastra. Alankara Shastra, Magha throughout spreaded all over the Kavyam, around 23 chandas, rhetoric meters he has used in Shishupalavada. And Artha Shastram he has discussed very deeply in the second canto as like the discussion between Balarama and Uddhava. They financially discuss how the kingdom has to be run. And it's a very beautiful knowledge displayed through Magha of his Artha Shastra by Chanakya. And also Mallinatha, who wrote the Bhashyam who wrote the commentary for Shishupalavada, he has mentioned, Magha has mentioned about Panini, so much of Panini's work and Patanjali's work in his commentary of the Shishupalavada. Bhashyakaram Mallinathan has mentioned this point. So Magha is little more superior than Bharavi in these 3 points. That's all. And then another one interesting saying goes for Magha, Navasarga gate mage Navashabdona vidyate. Navasarga gate mage. Actually, Magha's Mahakavyam is rather beautifully known as Magha Kavyam. Because Magha is one and only Kavyam, it's also a Mahakavyam. So it is, instead of Mahakavyam, it's pretty well known as Magha Kavyam. So, Navasarga gate mage, Navashabdona vidyate. First, Navasarga means running through the 9 sargas of Shishupalavada, we would almost know all the new shabdas in Samskritam. So, first Navasargam means 9 sargas. And the next Navashabdona vidyate, the next Nava calls for the new, meaning new. That's Samskrita's beauty. So the first Nava is the 9 and the second Nava is the new. So Navasarga gate mage sati Navashabdona vidyate. There would no new shabda would be there. Maybe we would be introduced to so many new shabdas. Such a depth knowledge of Magha in Sanskritam. And one funny and a very truthful saying, Maghe meghe gatam vayaha. You would all know this. Maghe, Magha Kavyam படிக்கிறதுலயும் மேகதூதம் வை காளிதாசா மேகதூதம் படிக்கிறதுலயும் அஸ்மாக்கம் வயக கதம் பவதி ஸ்யாத். So மாகே மேகே மாக காவியம் மேகதூதம் தோவப்பி படித்வா அஸ்மாக்கம் வயக நம்மளோட வயசு our age gets exhausted probably. So that's how the beauty of Magha. There are so many sayings, especially for Magha. He's such a great poet. And coming to the Shishupalavada, we would just have a crux of the story of Shishupalavada. As the name goes, slaying of Shishupala, it is extracted from Mahabharata. And Shishupalavada is a Mahakavyam. It's an epic poem, actually, and it is considered as the second biggest Mahakavyam. The first biggest Mahakavyam is Naishadiya Charitam by Shri. It consists of 2,800 verses. And next comes Shishupalavada. It consists, it's spreaded through 20 cantos, Vimshatihi Sargaha Santi, and run through 1,800 verses totally. And it's the second biggest Mahakavyam. And the third comes the Raghuvamsha with 1,540 verses of Kalidasa. And again, fourth is also Kalidasa's Mahakavyam, which is Kumara Sambhavam. It has 1,090 verses. And the last one is Bharavehe Kiratarjaniyam, which is running till 1,040 verses. So these are the 5 Mahakavyas. And in this Mahakavyam Shishupalavadam, Magha has used 23 rhetoric meters, Alankara Shastram, and generally we would know very few Alankaras. Like while studying Narayaniyam, we come across few Alankara Chandas. Parantu Asmin Kavye, Asmin Mahakavye, Kiyat Katinam, how much difficult chandas are there, we can't even imagine. Ipdilam kuda chandas irukuma. Namba adala namba paathe irukka maatom. But Alankara Shastram is so deep, and Magha has revealed that in his kavyam. And Shishupalavada, a story as the story goes, and also Magha has used in Navarasas. இந்த மகாகாவியமா இருக்கிறதுக்கு சில கண்டிஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்கு இல்லையா? அதுல இத்தனை சந்தஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கணும், இத்தனை ரசங்கள் யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கணும், நவரசங்கள் இருக்கு, இத்தனை சந்தஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கணும். And Magha has used the most rasas in his kavyam, like Shringara rasam, Raudra rasam, Veera rasam, Adbhuta rasam, and also Bibhatsa rasam. As the name goes, it is very easy to identify. Shringara rasam is the romantic essence, and Raudram is the anger shown in the kavyam, and Veera rasam is the bravery, and Adbhuta rasam is the surprise and the happiness which comes across the story, and Bibhatsa rasam is the disgusting words used. But though Lord Krishna over the kavyam, Lord Krishna is always on the top, but Shishupala as a demon, he used very disgusting words while scolding Krishna. In that sense, Magha has revealed the Bibhatsa rasam. So how a demonic character will be while even scolding Sakshat Bhagavan, in that Bibhatsa rasam is seen in Magha. So Magha is always superiorly seen than many other poets because of his profound usage of rasas, shastras, and alankaras. Okay, and now coming to the Shishupala story. Shishupala was born with 4 arms and 3 eyes, unusually, to the Chedi Raja and Shrutasrava. Shrutasrava was the Krishna's paternal aunt, Atte, and Chedi Raja was the king of Chedi kingdom. Both couples weren't happy seeing Shishupala, and they decided to do something else for the child. But immediately a divine voice prefaced that these extra limbs and extra eyes would disappear when the baby or when the boy is placed in the lap of the killer. They were first shocked to hear this as parents. Oh, my child would be killed by someone. But ultimately, he was demonic in nature while seeing the child itself. So, as a mother, Shrutasrava understood this, and very soon Krishna came there and he placed the baby on his lap, and immediately the extra limbs and the eyes got vanished. And at this point, we remember Madurai Meenakshi Ambal. We all know Madurai Meenakshi Ambal had Stanatrayam, and when she sees her own better half, the sthanam would disappear. Samana Ritya, Asmin Kavye api, Etasya Adbhudaha Agataha. So like these, Adbhuta rasam has been seen all over the kavyam, and immediately the extra limbs and eyes were disappeared. And Shishupala mother, instantly she realized he would be killed by Lord Krishna, and she pleaded Krishna to bear Shishupala's 100 sins and 100 mistakes, and then on the 101st mistake, Shishupala would be killed. And that was the promise given by Lord Krishna to his mother, Shrutasrava. And when Krishna visited, and eventually what happened, Rukmini was Shishupala's, would be a part of Mora Ponnu and மாதிரி சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா? But Rukmini eventually started loving Krishna, and they eloped one fine day. And Shishupala developed so much of enmity towards Krishna because அவளோட கேர்ள் ஃப்ரெண்டையும் கிருஷ்ணா அழிச்சுட்டு போயிட்டான் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு he felt he had so much of enmity towards Krishna from that day onwards. And also he was a demonic in nature, and he was the reincarnation of Hiranyakashipu. Yeah, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, and then Shishupala. And that's how the story, the Kavyam starts, and it is spread through 20 cantos. And the first canto is the Narada Gamanam. Narada takes the Indra's Sandesha, Indra's message to Lord Krishna, telling that Shishupala should be killed because he was a demon born in the Bhumi. So he should be killed by you. And this was the message passed through Narada by Indra. Because how Ravana was depicted in this first canto, we can't even imagine. We wouldn't have seen in Ramayana such. Ravana is powerful. We all knew that. But through words, if you see Magha's description of Ravana, we would really be surprised. And Ravanan இப்படியும் தெய்வங்கள்லாம் பயப்படுற அளவுக்கு ராவணனை வந்து அவ்வளவு மகத்துவம் வாய்ந்தவனா நமக்கே நல்லவன் மாதிரி தோணிடும். ராவன் அந்த அளவுக்கு டிஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிருப்பார். So Ravana is also described in the first canto. And then I'll just give a brief of headings of 20 cantos. நான் cantos இப்ப explain பண்ணல. So எப்படி ஆரம்பிக்கிறது அப்படின்னா, Narada just descends down from the heaven to Bhumi to meet Lord Krishna. And that was a very beautiful description given by Magha. ஏன்னா ஒரு சாக்ஷாத் பகவான் ஸ்வர்க்கத்துல அவர் பிறந்துட்டாராம். சோ அவர் வந்து தன்னோட மனுஷால பார்க்க போற ஒரு சந்தோஷத்தை வந்து டெபிக்ட் பண்ணிருக்காரு. அத இப்ப நம்ம வந்து நம்மளோட சொந்தக்காரால பார்க்க போறதே how we feel so happy. So Krishna felt so happy as if he is seeing his own people. So that way it was depicted in canto 1. And then in canto 2, Shri Krishna Upakramaha, that is Krishna discusses the things with Balarama and Uddhava. And canto 3 is the departure from Dwaraka to help Yudhishthira for Rajasuya Yaga. Canto 4 is the Raivataka Parvata Varnanam. There is a Raivataka mountain described by Magha in the borders of Dwaraka. And then in canto 5 also the beauty of the Raivataka Parvata Varnanam given by Krishna's charioteer named Dharuka. And then 6th canto is the Shad Ritu Varnanam. Shad Ritu Varnanam, the 6 seasons, description of 6 seasons. What it is actually, what is the beauty of describing 6 seasons? Generally we can raise a question, but overnight they stayed in the Raivataka Parvata. They all overnight they stayed there. All the 6 seasons parallelly showed their beauty to Krishna, as if they wanted to display their own beauty. Krishna should appreciate only summer season, and Krishna should appreciate only winter season. Krishna should appreciate only the spring season. All the seasons came together. So in that way Magha has described in canto 6. And in canto 7, Madhyapana Varnanam, they all stayed overnight, no? All Krishnas and co-people, they all stayed overnight, no? So all these materialistic pleasures is also being described. And then in canto 8, Jalakrida Varnanam, they all have a good relaxing time. And then in canto 9, Sandhyadi Varnanam, the sunset. And then in canto 10 is also Shrungara Varnanam, which is cohabitation between Samanya Janaha. So all the people, they have their intimacy in overnight stay. And then in canto 11, Prabhata Varnanam, which is the morning sunrise. And in canto 12, they resume the journey to Indraprastha. And then in canto 13, they reach Indraprastha, which is Nagara Varnanam. And then Magha describes the Indraprastha beauty, Nagaram. And then the canto 14, which is describing about the Rajasuya Yaga. And then canto 15 tells us about Shishupala Varnanam. And canto 16 is Duta Preshanam. Duta Preshanam, Shishupala sends a messenger to Krishna, telling that you are not at all fit for a Rajasuya Yaga. In Rajasuya Yaga, there will be an Atiti Satkara. Then Atiti Satkara means a puja will be done for that Atiti. In Rajasuya Yaga, it will happen that. So Shishupala at that time, he through the messenger, he scolds in very disgusting words and disgraceful words, where we could see the Bibhatsarasam in the Kavyam, in the Mahakavyam. And in Canto 17, Yuddha Goshanam, and in Canto 18 is also Yuddha Varnanam, and Canto 19, Chakra Adbudam. The power of Chakra, the beauty of Sudarshana Chakra is described, and in Canto 20, Shishupalavada, slaying of Shishupala. So, all spreading through 20 cantos and 1800 verses. It is Agrabhuja. It is totally of the beauty and the resplendent of Kavyam, Mahakavyam of Magha is really unmatched. And I would like to display a few Kavya Soundaryam of Magha, if I can share the screen now. Okay. And as we said, no, as the saying goes, Upama Kalidasasya Bharavehe Artha Gauravam Dandinaha Padaralityam Mage Santi Trayogunaha. So in the first few chapters, there are so much of similes. If I share the screen, it would be better. 1 minute. Am I audible? Kekarda? A voice kekarda?
Yes, madam.
Dhanyawad. So, this Canto 1, first shloka, this comes in Upajadi meter. Shriyaf Pati Srimati Shasitum Jagat Jagan Nivaso Vasudeva Sadmani Vasanda Darshat Avatarantam Ambarat Hiranya Garbhanga Bhuvam Munim Hari. And here, actually, in this verse, we can see the Artha Gauravam. Bharavehe Artha Gauravam is revealed here. The last line, Hiranya Garbhanga Bhuvam Munim Harihi. Hiranya Garbhanga Bhuvam is none other than Sage Narada. So, Sage Narada, actually, how he was born? Sage Narada, actually, he was born from the lap of Brahma. So, Hiranya Garbhanga Bhuvam. It displays a profound meaning for Sage Narada. So, this is matched with Bharavehe Artha Gauravam. And then the second verse, Gatam Tiraschinam Anuru Sarathe Prasiddham Udvan Jvalanam Havirbujaha Patatyadhodama Visari Sarvataha Kimetad iti akulam ikshitam janaihi. And the third verse, here actually Magha describes people saw the luster of Narada with wonder. Janaihi ikshitam is the crux of this verse. People saw when Narada descended from the sky, people saw some luster which is descending down from the sky. And the third verse is like, Chayastvisham iti avadharitam pura tata shaririti vibhavita kritim vibhuv vibhakta avayam bhavam puman kramatamum narada ityabodhisaha. So here, Krishna tells the people it is just none other than Narada. So people, they were surprised. Generally, the Jyoti will be only glazed up, but not downwards. The Jyoti will be glazed upwards only. But this particular figure was like a Jyoti because Narada's attire was in a golden attire and the Jyoti glazed downwards. How could that be? Was the surprise of the people, and Krishna explains that is none other than the Narada because his limbs were seen. And here, the next verse, in next verse, Navanadodo Brihataf Payodharan Samudha Karpura Paraga Panduram Kshanam Kshana Ukshipta Gajendra Krittina Sputopamam Bhuti Sitena Shambhuna. So here, Magha compares Narada with Lord Shambhu. So see the rhymings, Gajendra Krittina Sputopamam Bhuti Sitena Shambhuna. So the alliterations and the Padadi Yamakam in Kritina Shambuna, which is like Shambhu is the upama used here. And Kshanam Kshane, third line you can notice Kshanam Kshane. The first Kshanam is like the moment, and the Kshane refers to the festive season. So what is the festive season here? When Deva, like Narada, descends down from the heaven to Prithvi, Bhumi, it's like a festive for all the people. So that's the beauty of Arthagauravam and the Upama used in Mahakavyam. Just a minute, someone is there in the meeting. You admit Pantela, Bagini. And we would move on to the Kavya Saundaryam. Few examples of Kavya Saundaryam. This is the Shishupalavada, slaying of Shishupala by Krishna. And we can see the Magha stamp, which has been there in those days of Bharata. Here, we can see some exceptionally complex example for Sarvato Bhadra. So what is a Sarvato Bhadra? It is more than a palindrome. More than a palindrome means a syllabus set or square. Abdina enna, idha vandu neenga padichena, I have given the arrow marks. See the borders. Okay. Sakara nana rakasa kaya sadada sayaka rasahava vaha sara nadavadada da na nadava the davadana. So this is how it goes actually. நான் வந்து இத 4 லைனா எழுதிருக்கணும் சம்ஸ்கிருதத்துல. நான் 2 லைனாவே எழுதிட்டேன். இங்க பாருங்க. சகார நானா rakasa. So if you have, you can either way, if you read it, it's a square. See the words decoration, and it gives a different meaning. It's in the 19th canto, 33rd and 34th verse. So Sarvato Bhadra, it's perfect square, even from all the directions, is what the word means. So this is the 33rd verse, and the next 4 lines is the 34th verse. And the meaning is beautiful battle array of the army. In our 19th வந்து யுத்த கோஷணம் இல்லையா, யுத்தம் பத்தி சொல்றது இல்லையா, beautiful battle array of the army that was difficult for the enemies to overcome, and it was a resplendent with musical instruments and the cries of beast of prey. And these 2 verses, though they have same set of letters and though they are in a square pattern, they depict a different meaning, and the lines are reversed in the 34th stanza. Hope you all can see this. புரியுறதா உங்களுக்கு நான் போட்ட arrow mark? This is the first 4 lines is the 33rd verse, and the next 4 is the 34th verse.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And the next one is the Anuloma. Anuloma is the general name for palindrome. Yeah, palindrome na நம்ம வந்து சம்ஸ்கிருதத்துல அனுலோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். But there are even more deeper names for palindrome in Samskrita. We are going to see that actually. And this is the 44th verse. இது எப்படி இருக்கும்னா Varana Gagabirasa Sarabi Gaganarava Karitari Vadasena Naseda Varitarika. So here the first, if you notice the first line is completely reversed. If you reverse it also, it will be the same. And the second line by itself, it can be reversed. So this is a palindrome, perfect palindrome. Anuloma Prakara, first Prakara. There is type 1 of palindrome. And if you go to the next verse, Pratiloma. Pratiloma ne solrar. Magha is named it as a Pratiloma. Anulomaங்கிறது palindrome generally, but palindrome la இன்னொரு ஒரு type வந்து Pratiloma. அதான் palindrome type 2 னு எழுதியிருக்கேன். So it is in the 88th stanza. இது எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா, the first line அப்படியே அதே words, if you reverse it, it is the second line. Tamshriya Ganayanasta Rucha Sara Taya Taya Yataya Tarasa Charus Tanaya Nagaya Shrutam. So the first line is completely reversed in the second line. It's completely reversed, and the meaning is also different. And this is the second palindrome, which is Pratiloma. And the third type of palindrome is Samudga. What is Samudga? Each half contains the same pada twice, but with a different meaning. You can see this. அதாவது ஒரே letters தான் யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்க, but the space, the yamakam given is different. Sadaiva அப்படின்னு ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கார். பட் அடுத்ததுல பாத்தீங்கன்னா சதைவ சம்பன்னா. First line la sadaiva sampanna vapuraneshu. That meaning is completely different. Sadaiva sampanna vapuraneshu. That meaning is also completely different. Mahodade stari mahanitantam. Mahodade stari mahanitantam. The space giving is completely different. So that is called as a samudga. Same pada twice. அடுத்தது வந்து the fifth is muraja. Muraja means a drum, no? So இது எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா, if you see the English, it will be very easy. Sasena gamanarambhe rasena sida narata tara nada janamatta dira nagama namaya. So இதுல பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைன்ல சா இங்க இருக்கு, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைன்ல சா சேனா கமனான்னு இருக்கு இல்லையா, அது அப்படியே உங்களுக்கு கீழே வருது பாருங்க சா. And in the second line you can see it in the second letter, and in the third line you can see it in the third letter, and in the fourth line you can see it in the fourth letter. So இது வந்து ஒரு drum pattern. அதனால்தான் முரஜ சக்கரம்னு சொல்றாரு. முரஜ சக்கரம்னு சொல்றாரு இந்த பேட்டர்னை. முரஜ சித்திரம் or முரஜ சக்கரம். So இதுக்கு மீனிங் இது கொடுத்திருக்கு. The army was very efficient and the warrior heroes were very alert and did their duties with great concentration. Because எல்லாமே யுத்த கோஷணத்துல தானே இருக்கு. 19th cantoல தான் all these extremely difficult text, the complexity of text is seen in the 19th canto. So the army was adorned with intoxicated and restive elephants. No one was there with any thought of pain. And the last one is இன்னும் ரெண்டு தான் இருக்கு. ஏகாக்ஷர பாதா. So ஒரு பாதமும் ஒரு அக்ஷரம். So ஜஜௌ ஜோ ஜாஜி ஜிஜாஜி தம் ததோதி தாத்த துத்து பாபோ பி பாபி பூ பாபு ராராரி ரிரி ரீரரஹ. So ஒரு பாதத்துக்கும் ஒரே ஒரு அக்ஷரம் தான். So இதுக்கும் மீனிங் இருக்கு. Then the warrior, winner of the war with his heroic valor, the doer of extremely arrogant beings, he who has the brilliance of stars, he who has the brilliance of vanquisher of fearless elephants, the enemy seated on a chariot began to fight. அடுத்தது வந்து ஏக ஏவ அக்ஷரம், ஒரே ஒரு அக்ஷரத்தை வச்சு ஒரு full stanza. So this comes in the 19th canto of 114th verse. அதாவது வெறும் தா லெட்டர் வச்சுதான். It is completely dedicated to Lord Krishna. So Shri Krishna, the giver of every boon, the courage of the evil-minded, the purifier, the one whose arms can annihilate the wicked, who cause suffering to the others, shortest pain, causing the arrow to enemy. And finally, after this, Krishna lays down the demon Shishupala. ஒரே நிமிஷம் நான் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிடுறேன். So this is the beauty of Magha's work. Throughout the Kavyam it is seen, but in the 19th canto is exceptionally notified in every notified in every beauty of Magha. So you can see all the Artha Gauravam and Upamas. Upamas very commonly seen all through the Mahakavyams. And then Dandin's Padalalityam, Krishnaviyume seri, Shishupalinum seri, ஒரு நிறைய வார்த்தைகளை வச்சு he is calling. Like இப்ப கிருஷ்ணருக்கு வந்து கிருஷ்ணருக்கு வந்து ஹரிஹி, சக்ரி, அச்சுத, புண்டரீக, யஜ்வனாம் பிரியஹ இப்படின்ட்டு beautiful play of words, which is equivalent to Dandin's Padalalityam. And for even Shishupalavada, many disgusting words are described by Magha. That's also seen. So we see throughout the Mahakavyam all many rasas are described, and all the three gunas of Kavyam which has to be there in Mahakavyam is also described. So that's why Magha is always considered as a very superior poet. Of course, Kalidasa is always sweet, we all know, but Magha's depth of knowledge, his linguistic skills, ellame it's apart from each and every poet. And with this, I am concluding this speech. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Dhanyavadaha.
Excellent, excellent, madam. See, I am just wondering எப்படிதான் இவ்வளவு படிச்சேளோ, எப்படிதான் இவ்வளவு ரசிச்சேளோன்னு யூ மேட் அஸ் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் த பேஜ். பட் மை நாலேஜ் இஸ் நாட் தட் மச். அதனால பட் யூ ஹவ் டெஃபினெட்லி கிண்டில் த இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் டு லேர்ன் திஸ்.
ஆமா, ஏதோ சரளமா படிக்கிறோம், பட் இந்த டெப்த், இந்த ஒரு சௌந்தரியத்தை எல்லாரும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னு தான் விஷாலி பகினி கேட்ட உடனே இன்ஸ்டன்ட்லி ஐ ரிப்ளைட் வித்தின் அ மினிட் டெல்லிங் தட் நானும் உங்களை மாதிரி படிச்சுட்டு தான் இருக்கோம், நம்ம எல்லாரும் படிச்சுட்டு தான் இருக்கோம். ஜஸ்ட் ஆல்சோ ஒன் மோர் சேயிங் கோஸ் லைக் காவ்யேஷு மாகஹ, பிகாஸ் இட்ஸ் ஆல்ரெடி நோ pretty well known as Magha Kavyam, இல்லையா? So Kavyeshu Magaha, Rajyeshu Ramaha, Purusheshu Vishnuhu, Kavishu Kalidasaha. So Kalidasa is always special, it's always mentioned there. But Kavyam அப்படின்னு எடுத்தாக்க மாகரோட காவியத்துக்கு ஈக்குவல் எதுவும் இல்லை அப்படின்னு சொல்லி so much of commentators have written. And with this I'm concluding. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I bow to your knowledge. எங்களுக்குலாம் எனக்கெல்லாம் அட்லீஸ்ட் எனக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப லிமிட்டட் நாலேஜ் இந்த சான்ஸ்கிரிட். ஸோ இது படிக்கணும்னு ஆசை இருக்கு, அது படிக்கணும்னு ஆசை இருக்கு. Let us see by God's grace. பார்ப்போம். Thank you very much. Excellent presentation. Now is the time for thanks giving. மேடம் கீதா மேடம் பத்தி நான் ஆல்ரெடி சொல்லிட்டேன், பை மிஸ்டேக் இவங்களோட ப்ரொஃபைல் அங்க மாத்தி. ஸோ மேடம் வாங்க.
Sarvebhyo namaskaraha. Today's evening session, Samskrita heritage session, Pride of Bharat heritage session, started beautifully with Maitrim Bhajata, with Shreyo Bhuya Sakala Janabhyamiti, Bahu Sushtu Geetavati Thejaswini Bhagini, followed by Subhashitam. As usual, the Subhashitam was reinforced by the story that Ramakrishnan ji so beautifully compiled. We are talking about the importance of selecting the right kind of place, the right time, judging, proper judgment of the selection of the friends. It was very beautifully encaptured by the story, simple story between cat, rat and the hunter, but the message that it conveyed beautifully, it was relatable to the Subhashitam mentioned. That is the way we can relate to the Samskrita Subhashitas. That connect we need to give. Because we shouldn't think that, Samskritam is something way beyond us. So that's one thing. And then Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya, Ramakrishna Mahodaya, and Asmakam Priya Visali Bhagini, Sarvesham Swagatam Samyak Rupena, Utsaha Purvam Cha Kritavati, Tasyaha Krite Namaskaraha. Punaha Sushrutha, as the name indicates, he Sushrutam Bhagavad Gitayaha Vakyani Samyak Ritya Asmakam Bodhanaya Dattavan Ityeva Tasya Krite api Dhanyavadan Vyaharami. Especially the difference that he told between the priests, the Ritviks and the Purohits. These days we are generally using it as a very general term, like we all would have known thanks to WhatsApp, that the Guru itself, we see Acharya, we see who is a Shikshaka. Like that, there is a different responsibility for each person there. That was beautifully mentioned by Sushrutha Mahodaya. And then later on we saw about the difference in Icha and Dvesha leading to Dvanda and Moha also we beautifully brought out. Then we have to thank him for that. Every week, every time Samskrita heritage program happens, we have so much to learn from Bhagavad Gita through Sushrutha Mahodaya. And then Abhinav ji beautifully brought out the Surya Vamsha and Chandra Vamsha. Though we thought we knew many things from this, particularly in Narasimha Purana, how the difference comes between 33 wives of moon as against the 27 that we know. That was very special news for all of us, I'm sure. Vishali Bhagini may be knowing because of knowing Jyotisha, but for general people like us, it was a definitely new concept. And then Shloka, of course, Swetha, though she was very young in age, the level of divinity in her voice is something impeccable. Every time she said, Shri Shailasthala Nivasini Bhagavatim Shri Mataram Bhavaye, Asmakam Bhavana api Neetavati iti tasyaha krite api abhinandanani. Then, of course, the pinnacle came from Priya ji through Magha. Shishupalavadam, we have all heard, we all know the story, and we have learned little. Those who are Samskrita Abhimanis would have definitely known a few verses about Shishupalavadam. But அதுக்கு இவ்வளோ பிராதானியம் கொடுத்து அதை ஒரு மேட்டரை எடுத்துட்டு ஒவ்வொரு ரசம் ஒவ்வொரு இது எவ்வளவு தூரத்துக்கு அவ படிச்சிருந்தா அது நமக்கு வந்து இப்படி சுருக்கி அதோட ரசத்தை புழிஞ்சு நமக்கு இப்படி கொடுத்துருப்பான்றது how much of effort she must have put in to make it very relatable to us. Tasyaha krite, really I have to say a lot of thanks to you, ma'am. We know the kind of effort that would have gone in, because she spoke about all the shastras, about the meters, about the rasas. So, and she gave examples for each of this. So, we know how much would have gone into that effort, ma'am, and for making us, like Geetha ma'am said, now the onus is on us to pick up Shishupalavadam and take it upon ourselves as a matter of interest and study it further, apart from the shlokas that we know. Thank you very much for that. In fact, for lack of time, I'm not saying all the things. So many beautiful things came out from this. And it is only the time factor which is stopping me from going further into the details that you provided, especially between Bharavi and Magha, the contemporaries, both of them, and how Magha stands out. That was also brought out very beautifully by you. Thank you, ma'am. And I also would like to give a vote of thanks. Thank Mr. M.K. Sivakumar, who is going to say the Shanthi mantra after this. Thank you all, and thank you for the team for uplifting Samskritam and keeping the interest alive through யார் யாருக்கு என்னென்ன பிடிக்குமோ அந்தந்த கேட்டகரியில ஸ்லோகம் ஆட்டும் பாட்டாட்டும் இல்ல ஸ்கிரிப்சர் ஆகட்டும் இல்ல லாங்குவேஜோட கிரேட்னஸ் ஆகட்டும் அந்தந்த ஸ்பியர்ல யாருக்கெல்லாம் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இருக்குமோ சம்ஹவ் சம்ஸ்கிருதம் இஸ் பீங் தி ஜாயினிங் அந்த நாறு சம்ஸ்கிருதமா இருந்துட்டு இருக்கு பல விஷயங்கள் இருந்தாலும். ஸோ தட் வே வி ஓ அ லாட் டு யூ ஆல் ஃபார் மேக்கிங் திஸ் ஹேப்பன் அண்ட் involving us all in this great journey. Kudos to you. Sarvesham krite dhanyavadaha.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. தமிழ்ல இது மாதிரி அருணகிரிநாதனோட இதுல அலங்காரத்துல பார்த்திருப்போம். கந்தர் அலங்காரம், கந்தர் அந்தாதியில கிடத்திட்டின்னு ஒரு 53வது பாட்டு. ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு எலாபரேட். அந்த ஒரே ஒரு இந்த தாங்கிற வார்த்தையை வச்சு அவங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி அவரும் தாங்கிற வார்த்தையை வச்சு ஒரு பாட்டு எழுதியிருக்காரு. அதுல வந்து என்ன ஒரு இன்டெப்த் மீனிங் இருக்குன்னு தமிழ் நமக்கு மதர் டங்கிறதுனால ஈஸியா புரிஞ்சுக்க முடியாது. Sanskrit is a bit tough, but a beautiful language, no doubt about it. But எனக்கெல்லாம் நாலேஜ் கம்மி அதுல. I have not learned much. அதனால out of interest I am trying to cope up with some great scholars like you. Thank you very much. சிவகுமார்ஜி, சாந்தி மந்திரம். அவர் எங்களோட பிரதர் தான், அதனால அவரை பத்தி நாங்க ரொம்ப சொல்லணும்னு இல்லை. இந்த இதுக்கு இந்த குரூப்புக்கு ஒரு பில்லரா இருக்கார். He does everything for us.
I'm sorry, I will take to thank Geetha ma'am also, who continuously அதே thread மாதிரியே இந்த ப்ரோக்ராமையும் அப்படியே கூட்டிட்டு போனா. For thank you so much, Geetha, Muthuswamy, Vani, for carrying the program so smoothly, connecting us all.
Thank you.
Today, Shekumarji is not available for personal reasons, so I'll be rendering the vote of thanks.
Okay, okay.
Shanti mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः. शुभरात्रि सर्वेषाम्.